Hello everyone, the 316 here with a discussion video about the Lightning Collection. It was recently confirmed that the Lightning Collection is going to be somewhat on pause for the next year. Hasbro's official statement read somewhere along the lines of, no show, no new toys. But I wanted to take a look at the last 5 years of the line and showcase at least one of each figure that I feel accurately represents that year. Now, obviously, that there's 8 figures here, but we'll get into that more as the discussion video goes along. So we're going to start in 2019. This was, when people first got their Lightning Collection figures with Wave 1, going on to a few others as well. There were 21 figures released this year, as well as one roleplay item. The Dragon Dagger, Mighty Morphin White, Red, Pink, a few other good ones in there. But the very first figure that they ever announced was Mighty Morphin White. And along with that initial reveal in 2018, there was this statement from Hasbro. Welcome to a whole new era in Power Rangers collectibles. Lightning Collection launches in spring of 2019, the most show-authentic Power Rangers figures ever. 6-inch scale, real-world proportions, textures, and more. New anthology series approach, mixed waves, 27 points of articulation. And then in the red text it says accessories included, weapons included, optional SFX included, swappable photoreal actor likenesses included. Now, I would say that for the most part in the first year they did stick with that. Now, not every figure has 27 points of articulation, just depending on if it's a monster or if it's like a vehicle-based set. Sometimes they have less articulation. And also the photoreal actor likenesses, they don't always include one, but usually with the main Rangers like I have showcased here, each one of them includes one. And obviously since, I want to call him Signal Man, the Turbo Blue Centurion on the right there never unmasked because he's a robot. He doesn't come with an alternate head. Anyway, otherwise, they usually try to stick to that mission statement, but we will reference that in a little bit. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Mighty Morphin White. This was the very first figure released in the line with Wave 1 and first announced figure. Now, mine has a droopy head, but that's just from just how I got the figure. That's not every figure problem, that's just a figure-to-figure basis. And it did come with a photoreal actor head sculpt. I don't think it looks all that great. If anything, it looks very small compared to the other heads that are back there. But there you go. Not terrible, not great, but being that it was the first revealed figure in the line, I think for what it was back then, not bad. Could be worse. But Mighty Morphin White here, he came with alternate hands as well, but he also came with Saba, which is painted decently. It doesn't have red eyes, but, painted, decently well. It is missing some detail on the head, as I showed, but the rest of the blade, very nice. And, of course, you can, detach it from here. Gold paint looks good on the boots and the cuffs. No real major issues with this figure. And then I'm going to go ahead and showcase this one as well, because every other figure I picked was blue. So I thought I'd throw in the only Blue Ranger that released in 2019, the Beast Morphers Blue Ranger. This one was Wave 3, and was mostly just a reuse of the Beast Morphers Red figure, but he did come with 2 accessory effect pieces. And here's the civilian head. Actually, pretty good photoreal actor likeness on the newer actors' heads. On the older actor heads or ones that were from the pre-HD era, they don't look all that great. But this figure turned out good. Another good, just solid release. Let's see, what else am I reading here? However, there were some early problems in 2019. For example, I don't have this figure, but the bottom of Zed's staff is supposed to be flipped the opposite direction. This was the single release. The 2-pack release did eventually fix that. Also, the MMPR red helmet. Here's what it looked like. I added the silver in the middle. But here is a more correct looking Mighty Morphin red helmet. Obviously, it doesn't have the lips. I don't have a corrected helmet for Mighty Morphin red, but you can see the difference. This head is more circular. This one is more rectangular. Just to give you an idea. Anyway, if 2019 was pretty good, how did the next year surface in 2020? While continuing the lightning storm, 2020 was another solid year, introducing the Versus 2-packs as well as the Monster Waves. In total, there were 38 figures and 3 roleplay items. 2020 was beginning to become when the problems really started to surface, like really become very problematic. 2019 was the first year of the line, but it wasn't one where it was of high scrutiny. Obviously, early waves and figures and lines, they have problems, but because it's the first year, we're willing to forgive it, right? But I don't think any figure, besides the one I'm about to show, better represents the year of 2020 than Zeo Blue, also known as Rocky. Now, all the figures back there, I don't show them with their extra hands, just their accessories and the head sculpt. This figure is not missing any detail. However, it does have a few major problems. Number one, as you can see, the visor trim, that's supposed to be white here, like Zeo Red. Obviously, that's silver. And this one is white. Should be white, not silver. You'll also notice he doesn't have his tonfas. We had to wait 2 years to get a single release Zeo Cog to get his tonfas. So that sucked. He did come with an effect piece for his blaster, by the way, as well. Speaking of blaster, it may not be prevalent, but this paint chips like crazy. You can definitely see it on the sword, though. The paint chipping on this was very, prevalent and problematic, to say the least. A lot of people were not happy about this. And also, there's paint chipping on my particular figure on the white part. It's not as... There you go. Not too easy to see. But, it's missing 2 of its very important pieces. But look at this head sculpt, man. Who is this? Who is this person? Like, from this angle, it's not too bad, but who is that guy? That is not Rocky. That is... Ugh. 2020 was a Rocky year for the line, so, what better figure to show off how bad it was than, Rocky, right? Stick him back there. But yeah, Zeo Blue was not the only release with issues. A-Squad Blue had white accents instead of silver on his visor. SPD Omega was missing the gold paint on the entirety of his back. I forgot to grab him. Oh well. But I think the biggest issue with this year of 2020, it was so bad Hasbro had to send out replacement helmets. And I think many of you know who I'm talking about, but Dino Thunder White. You can see the figure in the box. It just doesn't have any of the black trim on it. And there's the replacement helmets. And of course, yes, I do have mine. He looks great, but Hasbro, for all of their problems, they, when necessary, do fix them. So I appreciate that. While 2020 may have been rocky for releases, 2021 was arguably, and in my opinion, the best and most consistent quality-wise for the line. With the pandemic in full swing, it was only a matter of time before the prices increased. Single figures went from $19.99 to $22.99, and deluxe and versus packs and monsters, they went up about $1 to $3, depending on the figure. This year also had the most releases, with 46 figures and 3 roleplay items. And the figure we're going to take a look at from this year is Wave 9's Lost Galaxy Blue. Lost Galaxy Blue was a midpoint from the old and the new of the line. It came out when these figures were still $19.99. However, some people got them for $22.99 with this wave. But Lost Galaxy Blue, I feel, is one of the best releases in the line, bar none. First of all, let's look at that actor likeness. Very good. Looks just like the actor that played Lost Galaxy Blue. I forget his name. Kai, I think his name was in the show. But, no paint details missing. Nice gold, as well as the proper symbol on both of his swords, or versions of the Galaxy Saber. He comes with his signature weapon version of the Trans Dagger, the Cosmoclaw. And, everything else about this figure looks great. Nothing missing, nothing mispainted, nothing problematic. You get the idea. There weren't too many major issues this year, mainly silver visors instead of white continuing, as you saw with Zeo Blue back there. But, Dino Thunder Blue as well. He had a silver visor instead of white. In Space Pink was another interesting issue. So you see on the promo image that she does not have the white on her shoulders. They did fix that, thankfully, before it actually hit retail. As far as I know, there are no In Space Pink Rangers missing that detail. But the most notable example was another helmet replacement program they did, which, while the figure released in 2021, it wasn't until the next year they actually started to offer the helmets, and that was A-Squad Pink. As you can see on the left, it used A-Squad Red's helmet design, but on the right is the proper helmet. Again, I'm glad Hasbro fixed that issue. I do wish that they didn't have that issue in the first place, but anyway. Many announced figures from this year were also released in 2022 or beyond. Most notably, of course, we have the Tyrannosaurus Sentry. Speaking of 2022, this year is mostly marked by a long silence from Hasbro. So much so that there was a lot of fans, both angry and concerned that something was happening or not happening. There was a Twitter hashtag, I believe it was started by Ranger Liz, hashtag We Love Power Rangers on Twitter. It got Hasbro's attention to where they actually announced the next wave, at the time, Wave 11's Wild Force Blue. This year also marked yet another price jump from $22 to $24.99, and deluxe waves went up to about $33, $34, $35.99, just depending on where you got it. And this year also marked the first instance of the plastic-free packaging figures. But there were some good things, as they did add some articulation in the hips and neck, as well as pinless arms and legs. And I feel that no two figures better represent 2022 than Wild Force and Time Force Blue. So Wild Force Blue was the last wave that had the closed box figure, or the open box figures. Got those backwards. And Time Force Blue, let me get him off of his bike real quick here. I'll just put the bike to the side for now. The bike isn't the important part. Man, this guy's dusty. I really should take him off the shelf more. Okay. That took a while, but there you go. There's Time Force Blue. Wild Force Blue, I think he turned out great. Again, no missing details. Very nice actor likeness as well. Not great, not the worst though. Definitely very reminiscent of who played him. He did come with his signature weapons. He came with his dagger, although one notable thing is that the belt on the dagger, or not the belt, the holster for the dagger is incorrect. It should be a fully sheathed one. This one clearly is not. And also it can fall out pretty easily, but I got it in there pretty good. My figure actually came with two of the same shoulder piece. You can't really notice, and I didn't really bother contacting Hasbro about it. Probably should, but oh well. And then Time Force Blue was among the first of the closed box wave of figures. He has some kind of weird looking proportions. He's got some pretty big shoulders, very tiny torso, but decent articulation. Now, why did I pick both of these figures for this year? Because his quality, mostly fine, but Time Force Blue's, a lot of people had problems with this middle torso piece just exploding on them. Mine turned out okay. I don't like turning it like this because it feels like a full, 45-degree ratchet? Or 90-degree ratchet. Like, I can't really put it halfway. It only goes this way, or this way. There's a very not nice sounding clicky sound to it. But as you can see also, there's the pinless joints in action. Looking good. They also gave him the drop down hips. And as you can see, they move in and out as well. Now, mine actually turned out okay. I think keeping him on the bike actually fixed the major looseness, but you can see he's still a bit wobbly. Good figure. The actor likeness, I think, is fine, but for some reason, everyone's figure came with that little mole, and the actor never had that in the show or in person, so I don't know why they added that. Also, weirdly, his hair is a bit of a grayish, bluish color, rather than like black. Thought that was a bit strange. But 2022 was a pretty turbulent year for the line. And I think the worst of this year boils down to the switch to Vietnam factories. I believe that this line used to be produced in China, and then they switched most of the production to Vietnam. There were some pretty major issues with the Ninja Rangers, although I believe most of them, while announced in 2021, released in 2022, but you can see a couple issues. Missing heads, 2 of the same head, or even 3 of the same head, missing hands, missing accessories, bad paint, bad quality control. It was a crapshoot. And, here's Ninja Yellow, just if you want someone to stand in. But I feel that the worst figure of this year had to be Wild Force Silver. Not because it's a bad figure, but because they made some design choices that really made people question why they did it in the first place. It was so bad that he had 5 different variants. The figure I have here, as you can see, it has the 6 stripes and white boots, but I do have a sealed 6 stripes silver boot variant. So, these figures, they got pretty bad, starting with the Ninja Waves, the Target exclusive, Mighty Morphin Ninja Rangers, and continuing on to Wave 13 and beyond, the plastic-free boxes unable to verify the quality control before opening the figures, as well as further strengthening swappers' ability to just return the box with different contents inside. It got so bad, Hasbro has since abandoned the plastic-free packaging initiative. And I would argue that 2022 was the worst year for the Lightning Collection. Going into 2023, some of these issues were fixed and others prevailed. Mainly missing parts, loose joints, missing paint, and even incorrect parts on the figure. That leads me into the next 2 figures to really represent this year, and that's Dino Charge Blue and the Turbo Blue Centurion. Alright, so we got Dino Charge Blue here. Just going to stick that to the side. And we got the Blue Centurion. Blue Centurion was a deluxe figure. I don't have Dino Fury Blue, otherwise I would have put him here. But let's take a look at Dino Charge Blue. And you can see that my eye on, I think it's this side, is painted very off-center. I'm not sure which eye it is that's problematic, if it's this one or if it's this one. It's very hard to tell. Likeness-wise, besides the, horrid paint application, it's not too bad. Good actor likeness again. Now, I thought this figure was great when I got it, and, he does have the wobbly hips, of course, but, pinless joints on both there. He does have the new added neck articulation. But I had one major issue with this figure, and if you look down here, if I would like to focus, I got two of the same boot. You can see that the fold here on my right side here, or your left, there's a little fold and crease, and that's the exact same fold and crease on this side. This is not what it's supposed to look like. You can see with Dino Charge Black here that the boot is supposed to look like this. So I did contact Hasbro about it, and instead of sending me a replacement, they gave me a Walmart exclusive Zeo Cog. Took me a minute to remember what figure they gave me. So, you know, that's great. I have a figure with an extra, or the same boot piece. And I just the other day purchased this Putrid, and if you'll notice, circle connects, the circle doesn't, because I got two of the same forearm and bicep piece. It's supposed to be like this. Stay tuned for that review. Blue Centurion here. Mine turned out very good. Very minimal quality control problems. Some people were missing a hand or got two of the same hand piece. Mine was perfectly fine. I appreciate the attention to detail on this midsection here. That's some really tiny paint detail. It's really hard to get that. These pieces come off. Really good figure release, and I hope Hasbro does more like that when they eventually start the Lightning Collection line back up. Stick that in there. Alright, let me go back to my script. That's why I keep pausing during this. Now, while Hasbro kept prices the same for this year, many retailers like Walmart and Target began setting these figures to $27.99, nearly $30 a figure after tax. Many times at my local Target, these figures peg-warmed until they hit clearance. A notable example being a figure I already showed, but Ninja Yellow. Many stores got cases of 8, like 5, 6, 7 cases of 8 of Aisha. When I went to my local Target, there were 40 of her marked down to about $8. I do wish I waited to buy her, but oh well. But with so many figures peg-warming, increasing prices, horrid quality control that only seems to get worse, many fans have backed out of buying releases at full price or even entirely. And with all of these issues compounding, it's no surprise that the Lightning Collection is on pause until further notice. No show or not. We still have a few things that have left to be announced / released. There is a Master Morpher, there is the Omega 4-pack, and there could be 1 or 2 other things. You also have the Selfie Series figure. If you want to get a Mighty Morphin Red, Pink, or Black Selfie Series figure, you can do that. And just about every online retailer has plenty of discounted stock if you need to catch up on certain releases. I started collecting the Lightning Collection in 2021 with Dino Thunder Red. And right now I'm currently 95 figures deep into the line. This is the primary toy line that I collect, and to see the rough and tumble throughout the years to the uncertainty of the line now, it's very unfortunate. There is also apparently going to be re-releases of certain roleplay items like the Red Ranger, White Ranger helmet, and the Dragon Dagger. No surprise, but if that is the case, that is good. But, you know, if the line does take a break, my finances, what little I have to spend on this line, are less stressed, and I can focus on catching up and buying the figures I do need. Before I end this video, I'd like to thank Toku Topics for keeping us informed over these last few years. Some of the photos I used of his as well, and compiling the announcements into the spreadsheet to keep track of how many figures there were, what was officially announced, what hasn't been announced, etc. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of these scripted videos. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. It all helps out the channel. And as always, peace.